Warning: the information provided in this video is for educational purposes only. Proceed at your own risk. Common mullein, also known as Verbascum thapsus. This member of the figwort family is a biennial, meaning its lifespan is only 2 years, and this introduced species can be found throughout the United States and Canada, growing in a habitat of fields and roadsides to a height of 2 to 8 feet. The plant has yellow flowers that are in bloom from June to September, and the flowers have 5 regular parts. The flowers themselves are 3/4 of an inch to an inch wide, slightly irregular, and growing in a dense spike. The plant has alternate leaves, and the leaves are entire, sometimes slightly toothed, oblong, 4 to 12 inches long, with a soft velvet, and the plant has large basal rosette leaves. The stem is woolly and square-like. Take caution while handling this plant. The hairs of common mullein may irritate the skin, and the leaves contain rhodonone and coumarin. Rhodonone is an odorless, colorless, broad-spectrum insecticide and pesticide, and coumarin is a known blood thinner. As for the plant's edibility, in summertime you can harvest the leaves. The dried leaves can be steeped in hot water for 5 to 10 minutes to make a tea. American Indians such as the Abnaki made a necklace out of the roots that was worn by teething babies. The Atsugewi made a decoction of leaves and took it for colds and rheumatism. A poultice of the pounded raw leaves was applied to cuts, and the crushed leaves were rubbed all over the body during a sweat bath. The Catawba made a poultice of the smashed leaves and applied it to pains, sprains, swellings, bruises, and wounds. A decoction of the roots was given to children with croup. The Cherokee used the plant in a drink for pains. The leaves were rubbed under the armpits for a prickly rash. The leaves were also mixed with chestnut and made into a decoction, and then they were mixed with brown sugar or honey and then used as a cough syrup. The roots were made into a tea and used for kidneys. The legs were bathed in a root infusion for dropsy. A root or leaf tea was taken for female troubles. The leaves were wrapped around the neck for mumps. The flowers are added to a bottle of oil and applied to sores, and the leaves were scalded and used on swollen glands. The Creek made a regular or compound decoction of the roots and took it for coughs. The Delaware made a poultice of the heated leaves and applied it to joints and other body parts for rheumatic pains and swellings. The leaves were also combined with coltsfoot, plumroot, and glycerin and used as a cough syrup and for lung trouble. The Delaware of Oklahoma made a poultice of the heated leaves and applied it to rheumatic pains. The leaves were used for colds, and a compound decoction containing the leaves was taken for catarrh, coughs, and lung troubles. The Delaware of Ontario made a poultice of the smashed leaves and applied it to pains, swellings, and bruises. The Hopi smoked the leaves with onosmodium for fits, craziness, and witchcraft as a cure for people with powers to charm. The Iroquois dried and smoked the leaves, exhaling through the nose, for asthma and catarrh. To regulate a baby's bowels, take the inside part of the first rosette leaves, put 3 in a small cup of water, and steep. For babies, give a teaspoon every little while. For a baby's rash, the whole plant was boiled in a pot of water and drank by babies with rashes. For toothaches, the leaves were heated in hot water, vinegar was added, and it was put on the face. For swellings and abscesses, cut a piece of the leaf the size of the abscess. If it's too big, the abscess will open to that size. Apply when the abscess is about to open. For bad hiccups, dry the leaves on a stove. Break it up and smoke it in a pipe. Swallow the smoke. For lumps and swelling that is a result from injury, boil 1 plant in water, make a mash of the warm leaves, and then tie them on as a poultice. Drink the concoction and wash the swelling. For earaches, the leaves were heated with sweet milk and applied as a poultice to earaches. Re-moisten as needed. For chafed babies, the leaves were applied with the upper side towards the chafed places on the baby. For consumption or tuberculosis, the leaves or root were dried and smoked. For swellings and mumps, a large bunch of the leaves were smashed and applied as a poultice. A poultice of the leaves was also applied to sores, and the leaves were used as toilet paper for hemorrhoids. The leaves were put in a shoe for softness and to prevent smelly feet, and they were boiled and taken for fevers. The malachite used the leaves for sores and cuts, and the plant was smoked for catarrh. The Menominee used the root for pulmonary diseases. The Micmac used parts of the plants for catarrh and applied them to sores and cuts. The leaves were used for asthma. The Mohegan made an infusion of leaves and took it with sugar for colds. A compound infusion of leaves was taken for coughs, or an infusion of leaves was mixed with molasses as a cough medicine. The leaves were dried and smoked for asthma and sore throats. The Natticoke made a poultice of the leaves and mixed it in vinegar, and it was bound to the neck, head, wrist, and feet for fevers. The Navajo used the smoke of the plant and set it up a sheep's nose for worms. The Navajo Rama smoked the dried leaves in a corn husk for coughs, fevers, and to clear the mind. A cold infusion of leaves was rubbed on the bodies of hunters and horses for strength. The Ojibwe used the peeled roots as a heart stimulant, and the Penobscot smoked the dried powdered leaves for asthma. The Potawatomi dried the leaves and smoked it in a pipe for asthma, and used the smudge of the leaves for catarrh and to revive unconscious patients. The Rappahannock made a decoction of leaves, or a leaf poultice was rubbed on human and cattle sprains and swellings. The Salish made a decoction of the plant and took it for tuberculosis. The Shinnecock made an infusion of leaves and took it with sugar for colds. The Thompson Indians made a decoction of leaves and took it for colds and coughs, and the plant juice was rubbed on warts. The Zuni made a poultice of the powdered roots and applied it to sores, rashes, and skin infections. An infusion of the roots was used for athlete's foot. According to Western herbal medicine, the medicinal part is the leaves and tops. Its actions are demucilant, diuretic, and antispasmodic. The leaves contain trace amounts of volatile oil, wax, and some tannin, and oil made from the flowers is anti-inflammatory. An infusion of the plant was used for coughs, colds, catarrh, diarrhea, dysentery, and hemorrhoids. A poultice of the leaves was used as a local application for inflamed hemorrhoids, ulcers, and tumors. The seeds are narcotic and have been used in asthma, infantile convulsions, and to poison fish. The dried leaves were smoked like a tobacco for asthma and laryngeal affections. As for the plant's other uses, the plant was used as a ceremonial tobacco for sweat lodges. It was cautioned that smoking too much of this plant is poisonous. Roman soldiers dipped the flower spikes in grease and used them as torches, and the leaves are still used to this day as a wick. And both colonists and American Indians stuffed either their stockings or moccasins with the leaves to stay warm.
Hi, I'm Mike from Plight to Freedom, and I'd like to thank you for taking your time out to watch my video. I hope you found this information to be useful, and if you have, please help this project grow by liking, subscribing, and sharing this information with your friends and family. For more information on wildflowers, visit me at plighttofreedom.com, and as always, keep your eyes and ears open and your powder dry.